Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is for 9th October 2020. We are into the revision mode and we were revising chapter number 2, biological classification. In this, our memory helps us that we were revising kingdom Monera, basically 5 kingdom classification proposed by Whittaker, and we were talking about 2 important kingdom. One is kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. With that, we are moving ahead with the third kingdom, kingdom fungi. So these are achlorophyllous. There is no chlorophyll. That means they are not green. Heterotropic, not autotropic. Spore formation, spores will be formed. Non-vascular eukaryotic organisms. U means clear, carry-on nucleus, eukaryotic organisms. Cell wall is made up of, this is important, many times in your NEET as well as UPSC, cell wall is made up of chitin and fungal cellulose. Reserved food is glycogen. Mode of nutrition is saprophytic or parasitic or symbiotic. Reproduction may be vegetative. If it is vegetative, fragmentation, fission or budding. Asexual, second, it may be vegetative. Second one is asexual. If it is asexual, it is through conidia, sporangiospores or zoospores. And third mode, sexual reproduction, it is through oospores, ascospore and basidiospores. And sexual cycles involves the following steps. So basically, kingdom, you must remember in fungi that cell wall is made up of a special chemical called chitin. And of course, the body of the fungus consists of long, slender, thread-like structures called hypae. The network of hypae is known as mycelium. All this I think we have covered when we were talking about this. And what is that you must remember is cenocytic condition, which is very common in fungi. That is presence of many nuclei within a cell. So we can say multinucleated cytoplasm. And also you must remember plasmogamy, fusion of 2 protoplasms. Karyogamy, fusion of 2 haploid nuclei. And then deuteromycetes are called fungi imperfecti because their perfect stages, that is sexual stages, are absent or not known. That's why deuteromycetes is called fungi imperfecti. And also you must have come across heterothalism. Heterothalism, that is the phenomenon of having 2 genetically different and compatible sexual strains in a separate thalli or thallus. And of course, as I said yesterday, you know that fungi in association with algae forms lichens, symbiotic relations, and with roots of higher plants it forms mycorrhiza. So these are the words that you must remember. So just now I said plasmogamy, fusion of male and female gametes, karyogamy, fusion of 2 nuclei, and of course meiosis in zygote to produce haploid spores. And phycomycetes, these are found in aquatic habitat and on decaying wood in moist and damp places. The mycelium is aseptate without septa, and cenocytic, just now I said multinucleate cytoplasm. Asexual reproduction by zoospores and aplonospores, which are non-motile. Example, of course, rhizopas, albumucus. So these are the divisions. And also continuing, ascomycetes, the sac fungi, ascomycetes, that is they are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic and coprophilous, growing on dung. This is a new word, coprophilous. And mycelium and branched and septate and asexual spores are conidia. Sexual spores are called ascospores. So you must remember this word, ascospores. and is produced inside the fruiting body called ascocarp. And examples: Neurospora, Aspergillus, and Claviceps. And third one, Basidiomycetes. It's called club fungi. The mycelium is branched and septa. Divisions are there. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Asexual spores are not found. Sexual reproduction is by two vegetative or somatic cells forming basidium. Basidiospores are produced in basidium by developing a fruiting body called basidiocarp. Agaricus, Ustilago, Puccinia. And Deuteromycetes, just now I said the fungi imperfecti. Why it is called fungi imperfecti? Because their perfect sexual stages are absent. There are no sexual stages. Only vegetative and asexual. See, only vegetative and asexual. Mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes or some are parasites. So, example, Trichoderma. Remember this Trichoderma? And moving on to kingdom fourth kingdom, Plantae. It's a eukaryotic. Carrion is very clear, nucleus, having a lot of chlorophyll bearing organisms, so they are green. Life cycle is divided into diploid saprophytic and haploid gametophytic. So you got haploid means n number of chromosome, one set of chromosomes. Diploid, di means 2n saprophytic, and haploid gametophytic, which alternate with each other. That's why the concept is called alternation of generations. So kingdom Plantae includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Of course, in our next chapter, we will be dealing with this kingdom Plantae at large, and we will be having the special characters of each of algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. And moving ahead with the fifth one, kingdom Animalia. It consists of all the animals that are there in the world. So they are heterotrophic, eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular, and cell wall is absent. Look at this. This is in the cell wall is absent in the cell. Mode of nutrition, holozoic, and reserve food is glycogen or fats. Sexual reproduction is by copulation between male and female, followed by embryological development. Moving ahead, we will also be talking in this chapter virus, viroids, and lichens. I know the moment I said virus, you are very scared. COVID-19. Don't worry. So, 5 kingdom system of classification do not include virus, viroids, and lichens. So, viruses are non-cellular organisms having inert crystalline structure. That's why COVID-19 is a dead fellow. Is not a live fellow, but still a non-living organism like COVID-19 is troubling living organisms like all of us. So that is, we have to think what makes this non-living COVID-19 viruses to almost kill the living organisms. So this basically, it's a non-cellular organism. It is inert crystalline structure outside the living. When they enter the living cell, they take over the machinery of living cell to replicate themselves. So what is the thought that you all must be getting? If we can stop this, when the virus enters into living cells of us, we should ensure that they will not take over the machinery of our living cells, so that virus gets killed. So DJ Avanaski recognized certain microbes as casual organisms of mosaic disease of tobacco. We say tobacco mosaic disease. Okay, and in addition to proteins, viruses also contain genetic material that could be DNA or RNA. Most of the viruses will have RNA. In general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA. We say ssRNA, and viruses that infect animals have dsDNA, double-stranded DNA. Some common diseases caused by virus are common cold, of course, influenza, AIDS, smallpox, leaf rolling and curling. Of course, right now the one that is making you to stay home, you are not able to come to school because of the virus COVID-19. And bacteria feeding virus are called bacteriophage. So bacteriophage, just because of the spelling, don't think it is a bacteria. Bacteriophage is a virus. Okay, so virus that kills bacteria. They are usually double-stranded. And moving ahead, they are double-stranded DNA viruses. The protein coat called capsid is made of small subunits called capsomeres. Protects the nucleic acid. These capsomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometric forms. So viroids, on the other hand, are discovered by T.O. Diner. You must remember this man's name, because sometimes in the examination his name is being asked. As new infectious agent, smaller than virus. See, this is smaller than virus, viroids, and is causing potato spindle tuber disease. They are free RNA without protein coat. There is no protein coat. And viroids are considered to be the smallest self-replicating particles. You must remember this. Smallest self-replicating particles. And they are infectious RNA particles without any protein coat. So viroids are obligate parasites. And along with this, I must also tell you here something called prions. Remember when we were talking about this chapter, there's something called prions, Prions, prions. Okay, what are those? Abnormally folded protein which function as infectious agent. They accumulate in nervous tissue and bring about its degeneration. Common diseases caused by them are bovine spongiform encephalopathy, BSE, or mad cow disease in cattle, and its analogous variant is Jacob disease, Jacob disease, CJD, in humans. So that is also very, very dangerous organisms. And finally, lichens, symbiotic association between algae and fungi. The algal part is called phycobiont and the fungal part is called mycobiont. They are good pollution indicators as they do not grow in polluted area. So with this we have completed